questions for Coach Lesley.
So Jordan, obviously good and bad out of what you've seen, not just this week, but 2 games. So take us through both sides of the good and bad.
I mean, the good was I thought we'd come out slow, and then we responded after the break. Our front seven continues to play well. Happy with that. Secondary wise, here's the bottom line, and I know I'm gonna be asked about it. And I'll take all the darts people want to throw at me. That's fine. I'm a big boy. All right, but plain and simple, few. All right, not all. We got guys got to play better, and that's what it is. And that's nothing that I'm not saying anything to y'all that I haven't said to them in a group setting, individually. All right, and they know what the consequences are, and we're gonna be some demotions and promotions, and that's as simple as I can make it. Like, we talk about corrections all we want to, or cleanups. We got just a couple guys got to play better, and that's it.
Are they capable?
Yeah, they're capable. Yeah, they're capable. And that's the ultimate evaluation of guys that that either make mistakes, whether it's practice, and then it carries over into a game. Those are the demotions. But the guys that don't, and then it's for whatever reason in a game, those are the guys that are capable. And they've done it. They can do it. And they got to play better. And I'm never going. And let me clear this up. I'm never going to sit up here and I'm single a player out. I'm not going to do that. All right. But again, I'm not saying anything to you guys, okay, that I haven't said to them or to the group, and they know, they understand. They're young men.
Good side of that is your run defense has looked solid. Good against Penn State, really good this past week. Is it as good as it appears?
I mean, everything's got to continue to improve. And I think that's the biggest thing that we talk about week to week. We got to continue to improve. There's some technical things that in those same areas you get away with Saturday that you're not going to get away with in the future. They got to be cleaned up, and that comes as the season goes. When guys, that's why you practice. And so, that continues. We'll have a chance, though.
What are the unique things that Pitt's going to present that you haven't seen in week 1 or week 2?
It's really the style of quarterback. We haven't really seen. I thought the kid from Duquesne ran around pretty well on some scramble stuff, but a different style, bigger. He's probably bigger than the Penn State quarterback. Can run around. Offensive line is different schematically, how they block things, how they block fronts than what the previous 2 that we've seen. So we've got to practice those things. And so, I think in receiver they're talented. The running back, they've got a little bit of both. They've got a speed guy and they've got a bigger guy. So they got a combination of the guys that we see at practice and we've seen in the game thus far. So tight ends. Again, you're playing 2 and 3 there. They played probably more in the first game than they have. So you got a plethora of tight ends there. One is a really good athlete, was a really highly recruited kid coming out of high school, and the other 2 have played a lot of ball. So it's unique in its challenges, and again, we'll be ready for it.
Means is a guy that they've talked about. You've got elite athleticism, big time player. Hasn't really produced through the first 2 weeks the way they expect him to. What does he bring to the table, and what are the challenges of defending him?
He's fast. Runs good routes. Attacks the ball in the air. He's a good receiver. He does the things that a good receiver that good receivers do.
Are you now kind of maybe going to see almost a test to what we talked about a lot all off season of having maybe more leadership this year in the secondary than last year, where it was really just one guy, or Beanie Bishop, Byron Brooks, like those guys, really test their leadership?
And it does. It's got to, but it's the whole group. The how I feel, I know we're going to be fine. I don't know if anybody paid attention, but right there toward the middle of the first quarter, the defensive line and linebackers walked right down there to them. So you can say, hey, the secondary leadership. No, it's everybody. The whole group. And I didn't say a word. They walked down there and handled it amongst the players. And whether that's a sign of being great or being better, I don't know, but I haven't seen any group before this group do that.
Yes,
and so
that's
a different vibe on the sideline. and I didn't have to. And no coach had to do it. And I said this maybe 2 weeks ago or last week. Like if I have to do it, or Shadon or Dante or Jeff that have to lead, it's hard. It makes it hard. So I think maybe we're turning that corner.
You talked very highly of Mike Lockhart in the offseason. Any surprise how well he's playing the first 3 games?
No, just validates what we've talked about, what we saw on film when we recruited him out of the portal. The big thing for him, he was our defensive player of the week, and it had nothing to do with stats. For the second week in a row, Mike made a tackle probably 30 yards downfield on a screen ball, on a missed tackle. That from a D lineman, when you see D lineman doing that, then they understand how they need to play, play football at this level, and then how they need to play that position. So really, really happy with Mike, and you just got to continue to grow and continue to get better, and find those plays all over the field, whether it's pass rush and the run game, but that kind of effort, like that'll win. You'll win more than you lose with that.
How about Tommy? He's flashed a little bit in a little bit of time.
Yeah, I've said this about Tommy again going into the season. I can't remember which one you guys asked me, but the thing about Tommy is he cares probably as much as anybody on our defense about the product that's on the field and how he practices and the questions he asks and the study that he does. And he's not perfect, and very few of them are, but it like Tommy really cares. Like it matters. How he plays matters to him. How he practices matters to him. So, I think we got a good one there. We got him for at least 3 more years. So, really excited about him.
You were happy with how Faturma played the first game. How did he do game 2? All coming off that.
He did fine. He did fine. We rotated a bunch of guys. We were able to play a lot of guys and by design, and probably cut into some reps of some of those older guys, which we were hoping would happen. So he played well, and the thing about Faturma is what he is. He holds a point. He's again, that's when we took him from Penn State, and I really thought he was leaving there. Although it's kind of out of position, and now I think we've got him in more of what allows him to be successful. And I say be successful instead of making plays, because there's a lot of those times those guys, Hammond Russell's the same way. Like they do things that don't show up on the stat sheet, and so thought he played well.
How's Trey Latham been at the
Good.
starting back?
Good. Pleased with where he's at going into game 3. And you guys have heard me say that I thought that was the one guy that had to we had to get a meaningful, a positive going into the season. He had to play well, and he has.
You played a lot of young players. I mean, guys that are going to redshirt this year more than likely. So what did you see? Neil mentioned Corey McIntyre. Ben Cutter played, though he's probably going to play. So what did you see out of those guys who are first game action type things?
So way more good than bad. There's some freshman mistakes in there. The last touchdown, and was on Ben, and he'll. That's a tough route on a will linebacker in that coverage, and he plays it at practice. But he's a freshman. I'm not gonna, never gonna. That's not even a negative to me. I don't. There's a learning curve for guys like that, and he's. Probably had to play more sometimes than he's ready for. But the thing about Ben is you'll never know it because of how hard he plays and how physical he plays. And Corey McIntyre is exactly in this D-line class what we needed at that position. He's athletic, he's quick twitch, he's powerful. We knew we had some bigger guys coming in, and you guys have heard me talk about staggering in recruiting with different skill sets and body types, and that's by design. And he's exactly what we wanted out of that. He's a little more of the, kind of like Darius, can move, can be quick, can play a number of different positions, and he's going to be a really, really good player for us.
So Jurkovich didn't really have a good game against Cincinnati, but it being his 6th year, I assume you think he'll bounce back, right? Like he's not a young guy that would let that affect him.
No, he's he's a projected draftable quarterback and has been, Was unlucky, I think, as a couple years ago with some injury. Kind of had to fight back from that, but he's been around enough. He's a good quarterback.
Is there anything Cincinnati did that you can try to take away? I mean, I think he only completed 10 for 32 passes.
No, not that, and I'm a little bit into it, not as deep as I will be, by the time we get into tonight and watching the cut-ups. The thing, and it goes, the only thing that really sticks out to me, we always coached against Coach Satterfield when he was at App State, and these guys always play hard, offense and defense. So that's one thing that stuck out just early looking at the film is how hard Cincinnati played. I don't think they really did anything special to get whatever those numbers were. I didn't even pay attention to that, but I don't think they did anything special. They went up, got up on them early, and had to hold on late. I mean, Pitt fought back within a 6-point game. So made some plays there coming out of halftime, but I don't think they did anything special.
Cincinnati's D-line, that's the strength of their team. How do you get more pressure without bringing extra guys? Is that something you guys are talking about, ways to do that, or is that something that just be one-on-one?
If we can rush through and get pressure, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Ain't many places to throw the ball, but that's it's always a chess match and protection and how and when that you do. You go back to Penn State. You had two of the big plays. One of the touchdowns were two-man routes in a set that in every single game has featured two of the top running backs in the country, blowing the game open on the play off of that action. It's and that's kudos to them. It's a good offense. They have the ability to do that. So you got to pick and choose your spots. But I think that the more we grow, we have the ability to get some pressure with some traditional, D-line rushes, 4-man rushes, whatever it is.
Jordan, Malachi, looked like he probably solidified things a little bit in the secondary. I think he threw it 5 or 6 times. No completions, which is good. Kind of the right guy at the right time there.
Yeah. And going into the season has, the depth chart coming out of fall camp is always based on that performance, and Malachi hadn't done anything wrong, and just up to that point. A couple guys have been better, but at the end of the day, what matters more than anything is how you play. So he come in, did a really nice job, and will be the guy we look to moving forward.
Players play different in a rivalry game with a big atmosphere. Do you notice things different? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, you hope so. I hope they do. I thought that was, just looking at how we played last year, and some things didn't go away, but we played better than we did in quite a few games, just overall. But yeah, I think they do. I think especially this one. Our kids know what it is. There's no secret. They understand what this week and how they need to handle things, and so we'll be there.
Who was Troy's rival? Biggest rival?
Yeah, it used to be UAB.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be UAB. As the Sun Belt come in, it was probably South Alabama, and then always the best game, at least in my tenure there, player and coach, was always UL Lafayette. They were always really good.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, guys.